Hey, folks, this is the True American podcast. I wanted to share with you something about happened not too long ago here in Kentucky. There was a Republican women's group that sponsored a buffet fundraiser, and one of the featured speakers was John Mattingly. He's the author of 12 Seconds in the Dark, and he was one of the officers involved in the whole Breonna Taylor tragedy. It's a very important book for people to get because what's happened, in my strong opinion, is that a lot of other folks have sort of suppressed what happened at that time from the police officer's perspective. We're only hearing one perspective about what's going on, and as a result, there's a whole lot of nonsense out there about what happened that horrible night. And also, if you do a YouTube search, John Mattingly, and look for WDRB interview, that's one of the rare times when you hear directly from John Mattingly. He was one of the three officers who served the warrant on Breonna's house. And it was it was, some people say it was a no-knock warrant. It originally was a no-knock warrant, then it turned to a knock warrant, and the officers did knock. They did knock, and there was no response. So when they entered the house, that's when all hell broke loose. And John Mattingly's book, 12 Seconds in the Dark, he talks about, from his perspective, what happened. And he was the only officer who was actually hit. He almost died. If he hadn't gotten the care he had gotten immediately, he would have been a dead man. So when he shot back, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend at the time, when the officers entered the house, he shot at the police officers, and the police officers responded. John Mattingly was hit. And so John Mattingly, the author of 12 Seconds in the Dark, he just returned fire. He's trying to protect himself, trying to defend himself. And so when people want to talk about murder, that's just absolutely insane. It's ridiculous. And as a matter of fact, when they were doing the whole warrant thing, they said, well, let's change it from a no-knock to a knock so that she has an opportunity to respond, so she has an opportunity to come to the door, and they serve the warrant and do their search, what have you. So it's an important book to get. One problem I have, and this is so typical of the white left in this country, is that they want to do everything they can do to suppress anything that does not fit their narrative. And that's exactly what they're trying to do with John Mattingly. He was to do an event, fundraising event, again for Republican women's group. They went out there and protested and just caused a whole lot of problem. Protesting's not the issue. Protesting's fine. It was a peaceful protest. That was fine. The issue is when the first place this women's group tried to have the event, it was canceled because they found out John Mattingly was to be one of the speakers. Now, folks, I've done a lot of, dinners and stuff, and I've never had the host, where I'm going to have the dinner, the restaurant, ask me, well, who's on the speakers list? It's never happened. And so somehow or another it was found out. Some people tried to say, oh, this Republican women's group, they're trying to sneak him in. They knew they were doing wrong. No, it's just the way you do things. You reserve the place. Say, we're going to have a dinner fundraiser. Okay, great. No problem. But as soon as this, I think it's some type of country club, Bowling Green country club, they found out. I said, oh, no, we don't want no part of that. They didn't do it out of principle. They did it out of fear. They did it out of fear. And then they went to another place, and it caused a lot of problems and disruption there. And, I think the restaurant where they finally had it, they apologized or something. Man, why are you apologizing? I tell you why you apologize. You're cowards. You're scared. But anyway, let me back off from that. I don't want to really make that comment. They had the event. They had the event at a restaurant, and I really should commend the restaurant for for sponsoring the event and having the event. And I can understand they're probably under some pressure right now to issue an apology and all that kind of stuff. Look, this is America. And businesses, it's really not good business, for a local restaurant to say, hey, well, you can have a dinner here, but we're gonna determine or censor who your speaker's going to be. That's not good business. It's really none of your business. Okay? So, and, that restaurant's now, I think it's called Anna's Restaurant. They're under some pressure to issue an apology or what have you. I'm glad Anna's Restaurant had the courage of their convictions to do the event. Maybe everything wasn't perfect. I'm sorry it wasn't. But, hey, if you're someone who said, oh, they shouldn't have had the event, then you have someone from Black Lives Matter go up there and have a dinner there. Or you have someone from the Breonna Taylor family. You have them speak. But this whole thing of attacking the restaurant and condemning the restaurant, demanding an apology from the restaurant, that's ridiculous. Now, the first group, this is what I meant to say. The first group that canceled the event said, no, you can't have. Now, we found out that Mattingly is going to be one of the people, and so we're going to cancel this. Well, that was cowardly. You lack principles, you lack conviction. You're a coward. And I get that, because the white left, they can be very intimidating. I mean, look what they did, look what the Nazis did in Germany. They didn't, they used intimidation to keep people from patronizing Jewish businesses. That's what the white left does. That's what the white totalitarian left in the United States of America does. They follow that tactic of what the Nazis did in Germany. They want to intimidate people. They'll use intimidation. No, don't you dare do business with these folks. They don't fit our narrative. We don't like them. And so that's what they did that with this one. I think it was a country club group. They said, oh no, Mattingly, oh no, we don't want anything from there. Okay, you're intimidated. I get it. You're scared. I get it. Anna's Restaurant, they decided to host the event. They weren't intimidated. They weren't scared. And I'm sure if you went to Anna's Restaurant and said, hey, we want to have a Black Lives Matters speaker here, and say, fine, here's a deposit, here's how much we'll charge you per plate, and we'll give you the best food and service we can. That's exactly what they should do. All right? So before I was saying that I condemned the second restaurant, I misspoke there, and I just gave a clarification. That's where I'm coming from. 12 Seconds in the Dark, you can get that at Amazon.com, and I highly recommend that you do so. It's a good book. You got to hear the other side. You got to hear the other perspective, okay? So that's it. I just want to make sure I said that and got that out there. And, I hope more and more Kentuckians hear what John Mattingly has to say. And one of the best ways to do that is to read his book, 12 Seconds in the Dark. Get it. Get it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say this right now. The first two people who contact me and say, hey, I'd like a free copy of that book, 12 Seconds in the Dark, by John Mattingly, I will get it to you. I will get it to you. You can go to my website, booktalkwithcorbin.com, and just say, hey, I'd like to have a free copy. I'd like to read what this former LMPD officer has to say, and I'll get you a copy. I guarantee you that. Okay, folks, that's True American Podcast. Boy, I got some great interviews I'm doing tomorrow. So you keep in touch. You stay tuned, subscribe, like, and promote. Thank you, guys.